Hello everyone, welcome back to Small Great Ace Attorney 2. This is the same day, it's only been a few hours since I last streamed. This game has me by the fucking balls. Incredibly so. So in the meantime, let me just get things up, make sure things are working. Hello. Tantal Knight, what's Ace Attorney sounds bad. I just saw that. Hello. Who is this Tantal Knight person? You've capitalized the T and the N. Could be a completely different person. I don't know. I don't think I've ever met you before. Welcome to the stream, newcomer. Holy shit. That last... Am I still streaming? On YouTube? Please tell me I am. Please tell me I am. Hello? Hello? Am I still streaming? Oh, thank God. I accidentally hit the stop streaming button. I accidentally hit the stop streaming button, so I immediately pressed stream again. Holy shit. I don't mind if Twitch goes down for a brief moment. The problem is YouTube. If the YouTube VOD gets cut, I have to re-upload the entire VOD, and that's really annoying. Oh, holy shit. You know, I'm just like... Oh, okay. It looks like it's fine. It looks like we're good. Looks like we're okay. Okay. Everything's okay. Oh my God, that was the biggest scare I've had this entire stream. Okay. Hello, May. Hello, Curb. Dropping on with the fish and chips. She finally got her fish and chips. Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm just so excited to continue this game. Holy shit. That last, the entire stream, you've been streaming for a minute. Yes, but still, it just gets messy. Hey, it's me. You're still awake. Oh, wait, no, you would have just... Wait, no. You're still awake. I don't think you've gone to sleep yet. It's morning for you, though, right? Anyway, let's continue. That last dance of deduction was so fucking good. Holy shit. I really feel like, it just feels right that Mikotoba is like the Watson. I don't know. It doing that whole last segment with the dance of deduction and all that really felt like two friends meeting together for the first time in years, and we barely even see these two characters together. It's such a cool combination of characters. I didn't think much of Mikotoba when I first saw him, but wow. Wow. Anyway, I'm gonna continue. The theme in that last dance of deduction, we heard it before. I remember it coming and playing when Sholmes and Mikotoba initially left, right? At the end of the chapter. It's so good. Kazuma Sogi, I know you, and I know you wouldn't lie, but still, there's no doubt that you're holding something back. You know more than you're saying.
During these past 30 minutes while this court was adjourned, all possible efforts were expended. But sadly, Mr. Jigoku's whereabouts could not be ascertained.
Miyataba. We must accept the unfortunate conclusion that the Reaper has already done the deed. There's no sense in wasting any more the court's time. The prosecution calls for an immediate verdict. Objection! Good, I'm still ahead. Nice. No, the trial cannot end now. You're a Japanese man, Ryunosuke. You should know when to lay down your sword. And you should know never to presume when the battle is won. This is so peak. The court is already presented with all the evidence and heard all relevant testimony, and there can only be one conclusion: that the accused is guilty. All relevant testimony? Far from it. There's still a crucial witness, from whom the court is yet to hear a single word of testimony.
In that case, call your witness to the stand at once, counsel.
Yes, my lord. Tomorrow, if possible. The witness is already on his way, and scheduled to arrive tomorrow. Who on earth is this crucial witness? Seishiro Jigoku. The very man allegedly murdered by the Reaper. Judge Jigoku? You found him? God, the fucking gavel, like the fucking cane sound effects really gets me. It's so fucking funny. Why does it sound like that?
But the investigations of every policing resource in the capital suggest that Jigoku is already dead. How in the name of God
did you find the man? I didn't expect him to say God. He was located in France during the recess, at the port of Dunkirk, thanks to one of Mr. Herlock Sholmes' famous deductions.
Herlock Sholmes?
Xenogears, I know, right? This is a Capcom game. But yes, got a Nintendo game. Have you ever played the Xenoblade Chronicles series, Curb? Inspector Gregson almost certainly met with Mr. Jigoku on the night of his death, because along with Prosecutor Asogi, Gregson was on a mission to assassinate the man. Which means that Seishiro Jigoku is the sole witness. DGS is on PS4 and PC, yes, but technically it's a 3DS game we're playing. And it was that way for 5 years, so checkmate. Who can clarify exactly what happened aboard the SS Grouse on the 31st of October?
Well, it would appear that it's too soon to move to adjudication at this point.
Checkmate. Mate! The
prosecution concurs. The court must hear Mr. Jigoku's testimony. No judgment should be passed until all testimony has been considered. In that case, I hereby call the end of today's proceedings. Court will reconvene at the same hour tomorrow. No objections from either side.
No, my lord.
No objections, my lord.
We live to fight another day. By the skin of our teeth. Is this gonna be a to be continued right at the start of the stream? That'd be funny. That'd be very funny. Why do I keep stopping right before to be continued? Like, this happened, like, last stream, I stopped right before the next, like, chapter end. And then this stream, God damn it. Why am I like... Well, to be fair, I did have pressing matters to get to, so, like, you know, like, feeding the cats and stuff. Both times, actually. So, yeah. The unexpected hold of proceedings sent a clamor around the courtroom. But outside the Bailey, where Londoners knew nothing of the secret trial within, it was typically a still night. Or was it a holy night? Which on the holy night? It's like using healing items before healing point timing. Yeah! Oh god, I hate that. Then, to be fair, I'm not too fussed about when I stop. This is a visual novel. It's like a book. You can just kind of pause. You can bookmark. Put a bookmark in the book and just stop whenever. That's why visual novels are nice. You don't have to, like, feel compelled. I don't know. There have been visual novels where I've been on the edge of my seat and I cannot stop reading. Muv-Love. Muv-Love. Was there anything else? That's what I was thinking of one other visual novel. I can't think of it. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Yeah, Muv-Love. Muv-Love had me gripping my seat on the edge of the seat for, like, the finale of that. Holy shit. Anyway. Steins Gate, I don't want to stop. I do have Steins Gate. I don't know if I don't know. I've seen the anime of both Steins Gate and Zero, though, so it's like... I know Steins Gate Zero specifically is more of an accompaniment to the... Like, the anime is more of an accompaniment to the visual novel, but, like, the first Steins Gate is more of an adaptation, I believe. That said, I don't really remember all the details of Steins Gate, so... Could be worth a play at some point. I don't know if I can stream that game. I've seen people stream Steins Gate before, but... I don't know if I'd stream it, to be honest. I'd probably want to read it in Japanese, because that's kind of what I do with most visual novels these days. It's good practice. But, like, this one... Ace Attorney is a series where it's like, okay, I need to play in English. I'm just so used to the English localization for Ace Attorney, you know? And plus, I'm streaming it, so... A visual novel in Japanese on stream is probably not the best thing. Anyway, then... At a little past 8 o'clock that evening, Mr. Chomps and his partner returned to Baker Street. Well, it's less of flex and more like, the more Japanese games I play with lots of text, or more specifically, the more I read in Japanese, the better I'll get, and that's why I do it, you know? Games is a good excuse to force myself to read more Japanese, and I think I've gotten better from playing more games in Japanese, but yeah. I'll be playing Naruto on stream in Japanese, so that'll be fun. Not that anyone will watch, it will be an interesting stream. But yeah. Hello, you just appeared. We have returned, my dear fellows! Welcome back to Britain. And thank you for your timely help. Think nothing of it! I believe you've had an even more wearing day than Mikoto and I. No? You could say that. We were on the brink of defeat in court earlier. So this prosecutor, Asogi, had you on the ropes, did he? And he's your best friend, you say? Well, he's not really the man I knew in Japan anymore. Kazuma's changed. Oh, Mr. Naruto. I mean, it's incredible. To think that he'd even entertain the idea of acting as the Reaper's assassin. Well, nevertheless, you must introduce me. After all, I've only met the young man as a corpse. When all this started, almost a year ago now. It's true. Mr. Shom saw us and taught us the truth about what really happened back then. About the motivation for what he himself described as a great detective's lie. Now then, I must say, it's really quite a journey all the way to France. Oh, it is another country, Mr. Sholmes. So, what news of Judge Jigoku? We took him to Scotland Yard. The investigation detectives there have a lot of questions for the man. Poor Professor Mikotoba. This must be quite a shock for him. Ah yes, I picked this up at the telegraph office on the way home. What is it? Surely you haven't forgotten already. I put it upon both of you for the matter only yesterday. You put upon me, Sholmes. I had to fill out your telegram to Japan and foot the bill as well. Oh, you've had a reply already? What's so urgent though, Mr. Sholmes? Such matters can wait until later. I'm far too hungry for an involved conversation at present. Well, that is good news, because supper's ready, everyone. Holy shit, I just noticed the food. Holy shit, I just noticed the food. And what a feast it is. If I were none the wiser, I'd think the trial we were won already. Roast beef, kippers, stew, steak, and kidney pie. Yorkshire pudding. Tomorrow could be a very long day, so eat up. In that case, I think I shall seat myself just here. In that case is a big punching thing that will make you sprawl out on the couch. This place appears to be the only one set with a helping of a pheasant as well. Oh, sorry, Ollie. Not there. Why ever not? Are we set in places this evening? Yes, and that place is for Susie's daddy. For me? That's right. I made it especially for you, Professor Mickey. Mickey? Mickey Mouse? Oi, Sue!
Oh, that's terrible kind of you. I see. Well, that's terrible kind of you.
It's a shame, really.
What do you mean?
Well, for a brief moment, I believed it. That Susie and I were half sisters, I mean. Oh, Iris, do you mean? Yes, I know now. I've heard yesterday. I secretly listened until the conversation you had. After I tricked you into thinking I'd left.
What? What? The misunderstanding arose because of that autopsy report from 10 years ago. But actually, it turned out that neither Dr. Wilson nor Professor Mikotoba are Iris's father. Well, that's interesting.
Yes, about that, Iris. You know,
I know. You can't tell me at the moment. Oh, Iris. The first is by way of an apology. I'm sorry for eavesdropping.
Oh, no, that's quite alright. Then why don't I get any apologetic pheasant?
So just who is Iris's father? I suppose that's not something we'll be finding out today. It's gonna be relevant to the case, right? I don't see how that would work, but...
So then, let us dine, while our largely pheasantless plates are still piping hot. A fine idea, Sholmes. It looks all absolutely delicious.
Eat as much as you like, they're always seconds.
This could be our last chance to ask questions before tomorrow's trial. About that telegram from Japan and about Kazuma. I can't let this opportunity slip away. Roast beef, kippers, stew, steak, and kidney pie. Yorkshire pudding. It all looks mouth-wateringly good.
Indeed it does. And if it were accompanied by even a morsel of pheasant, it would be perfection.
You're still on that.
Oh, it really does look like a feast for celebrating a victory in court.
Or indeed for drowning one's sorrows after defeat.
I hope you weren't referring to the trial tomorrow, Mr. Sholmes.
He's clearly still in mourning over the pheasant at the moment. It's all marked as like I've investigated, but is it gonna be any different? I finally managed to remember this behemoth's name. The Great Analytoscope. I think yeah. Interesting, it's all marked as like investigated, so I guess it's all from the last chapter. That's weird. Alright, I don't think I need to investigate anything, so... Oh, it's just Sholmes. Okay. Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing?
Surely it's abundantly clear that I wasn't brooding over Mikotoba's refusal to share his pheasant with me. Nevertheless, I felt the need to withdraw from the social circle for a while and look on with hungry eyes.
Sorry, Ollie, but I cooked that pheasant especially for Susie's daddy.
Even though I've played the role of a father to you for far longer.
Mr. Sholmes, could I discuss some things with you?
Certainly, my dear fellow. I find myself quite in the mood for a spell of conversation. No doubt, you're hungry to learn more of my deep love of game.
Sholmes Gaming? I can probably contain my curiosity on that one.
You needn't look at me in that fashion.
In what fashion?
It seems that before we discuss the pheasant, we have some rather unpheasant matters to discuss. Yeah, like my armband. Mr. Sholmes, would you mind looking at this?
This is hardly the time, Mr. Naruhodo, as I'm sure you will appreciate.
Oh, no, of course not.
My attention is entirely drawn to one single matter now, the pheasant.
Anyone would think you hadn't eaten in weeks. I'm guessing there's nothing I can present based on that. I guess this, yeah. No. Alright. Telegram from Japan. So, what was in the telegram you received back from Japan then?
Ah, this! I thank my lucky stars it arrived in time. Record found as indicated. Duplicate follows. K. Asogi, A. Shin, T. Gregson, J. Wilson.
Ah, this is the thing from last time. What? Those 4 names. We've come across that exact same list before. They came out in that unforgettable case last spring. What appeared to be a simple case of aggravated murder turned out to be masking monumental intrigue, a plot that involved the sale of the British governmental secrets to foreign states. In exposing the means by which those secrets were being leaked, we deciphered a fragment of a message. K. Asogi, A. Shin, Asashin. Wasn't it Shin with 2 N's? I thought it was Shin with 2 N's. I guess that's a mistake, but cool. Tobias Gregson and John Wilson. But we didn't find the names out until the case was over, and we never did get to the bottom of what they meant. All we knew was that the information had been sent by somebody in the British government to somebody in Japan. So, why are the names coming up again now?
Yes. Where did at the end of your telegram discover them, Mr. Sholmes?
I have here the message I wired yesterday. Allow me to read it to you.
2 N's? Xenoblade 3?
Enter Judge Jigoku's office undetected and investigate telegram records. Expect to find communication from Britain dated 1 year ago. List the 4 names need by tomorrow. Naruhodo. I sent it to a detective I know, who specializes in clandestine missions of this nature.
Wait, he put it in our name, Naruhodo?
You asked Inspector Hosonaga to undertake such an onerous task for you.
Hosonaga. Nice. I was wondering, because he hasn't appeared in this game at all. And in my name? I wonder what guys he opted for this time.
My dear fellows, it was a matter of great urgency, you understand? Anyway, the list of names was found in Seishiro's office, as Sholmes predicted.
You saw the turtle in the art they showed. Right, no, he appeared in the first case. That's right. I'm blanking on that. So you mean that mysterious collection of names that was sent from Britain, Japan was...
Was sent to Judge Jigoku. He was the intended recipient.
I don't believe it.
But that doesn't answer the question of what the list of names actually signifies.
I did formulate a hypothesis about that. But without a shred of evidence, I couldn't possibly have shared it.
Mr. Sholmes looks deadly serious for once. That tragedy we had to go through on the SS Berger. It was all for nothing, Kazuma wasn't dead at all! We were completely taken in by the lie you told us, your great detective's lie.
I took no pleasure in deceiving you. However, at the time...
All that concerned me was preventing the young man's study tour from taking place, whatever the cost.
What?
I capitalized on the events that transpired to see that he was sent back to Japan.
His remains, you mean?
Precisely, Mr. Sato. And then, I made sure that somebody else was sent to Britain in his stead.
Oh my, you mean?
The arrangement between our two countries was already in place. One university student lawyer, and one judicial assistant to be accommodated on a study tour. In other words, by arranging for someone else to fill the place originally intended for Mr. Asogi, I would successfully prevent the man from arriving on our shores for several years at least.
Wait, do you mean to say that it was all in aid of stopping Kazuma coming to Britain? That's why you...
Think back, Mr. Naruhodo. Was there not somebody who quite casually urged you to continue on the voyage to England?
It was Sholmes.
The terms of the study tour were negotiated by the Department of Justice in both Great Britain and Japan.
I just bit my tongue.
In light of Mr. Asogi's unfortunate death, I'm afraid the study tour can no longer go ahead.
My dear fellows, the majority of problems have an extremely simple solution, you know. All you require is one lawyer, and the study tour can continue, surely.
But there was no one else with the necessary qualifications, Mr. Sholmes. We know other lawyer. We don't know other lawyer.
The voyage to London still promises a good month of time. Ample opportunity, I would say, to find yourselves another suitable lawyer.
So, you manipulated me?
I've often remarked on the extraordinary lengths to which friendship will drive a man. I was quite sure that you would rise to the challenge for your late friend.
I don't believe it.
But if it was all contrived. I mean, what happened was treated by the authorities as murder. A woman was mistakenly arrested as the perpetrator. What do you suppose came of her?
Naturally, I didn't allow the misapprehension to have any serious repercussions. I subsequently explained everything and assisted the unfortunate soul in finding the foreign refuge she sought.
Oh, that's good. I seem to remember Mr. Sato and I had some rather strong words for her.
Well, she was certainly not devoid of all guilt. She deserved every word, I'm sure.
I wonder if she made it to America then.
I'm afraid I simply cannot comprehend it. Why would you go to such lengths, Mr. Sholmes? Why are you so determined to stop Kazuma-sama from reaching Britain?
The truth is, 12 months ago, there was already a very tangible omen of the impending tragedy, you see.
Oh,
An omen that, at this very moment in... At this very moment in time is close at hand.
An omen of all these tragic events that already existed a year ago is close at hand. I need to find out exactly what Mr. Sholmes knows. So I'm assuming I have to present something. Wait, what? Well, something I have to investigate, right? Clearly nothing, so it said what? An omen... Tragic events that already existed a year ago is close at hand. Huh? telegram, I guess? Yeah. There's no room for doubt with your instructions in this telegram, Mr. Shoulders. You were very clear that it was from Judge Jigoku's office that it should be searched, so... You obviously knew that's where the list of names would be found.
K. Asogi, Shin. Shin. T. Gregson, J. Wilson.
Shin. Sorry. But we only learned for 4 of those names just over 6 months ago now. Only because they appeared as part of the top secret government communications that were leaked. That's true, yes. T. Gregson. Gregson doesn't like tea. He likes fish and chips. It should be F and C. Gregson, right?
That's true, yes, but at the time you were unaware of the background. You see, those 4 names were wired to Japan. Around 6 months before that. Approximately this time last year, in fact, when you were both still in Japan.
Fish and chips flavored tea. I'd love to try that.
It would really be hypocrisy on my part to reprove others for intercepting state secrets. Because after all, I'm perpetually eavesdropping on communication between the British and Japanese governments.
You're perpetually doing what? How?
Never mind the details, but you should know. No secret is safe from Herlock Sholmes when he has designs on knowing it.
Oh my, Mr. Sholmes. What a fabulous line.
Now, 1 month after that list of 4 names was wired to the recipient, Jigoku, in Japan, Dr. John H. Wilson was murdered. As soon as I learnt of the incident, a hypothesis rapidly took shape in my mind. As it turned out, I was partly correct and partly mistaken. Nevertheless, it was the beginning of all the tragic events that were to follow.
Mr. Sholmes, please. Tell us all you know. Tell us about these 4 names and the tragedy to which they all are somehow connected.
I just remembered the little belt, the gold belt that we had at the end of case 3. We never, or was it case 2? They haven't gone back to that yet. How does that tie into everything? How does the convict that died tie into everything?
As I said, when I learnt of Dr. Wilson's murder in Japan, my mind immediately turned to those 4 names because you see, there was someone else on the list who I believe to be recently deceased.
What? Who?
Shin, as it was described in Japanese script. In actual fact, Miss Asashin.
Oh, it's just bad localization, I think.
That was a familiar name to me. She was a professional killer. Well known among London's unsavory classes.
Oh, I see.
But she had completely vanished from existence several months before Wilson's murder. So I came to the logical conclusion that she had herself been killed. And accordingly, I became fearful for the lives of the 2 remaining persons on the list.
K. Asogi and T. Gregson.
Owing to our proximity, I decided to take measures to protect Gregson myself, but I determined it would be safest if young Asogi were to stay away from Britain.
So that's why you sent such lengths to prevent his study tour from going on ahead.
Exactly.
So, you already knew who Kazuma-sama was, Mr. Sholmes?
Oh yes, Sholmes and I have exchanged correspondence for years. I recounted many tales about Asogi to him in my letters, and the news of Dr. Wilson's death, of course.
So Dr. Wilson is dead then? I didn't know.
Oh, Iris, right.
I know he wasn't my daddy, but still. That's very sad. I'm so sorry, Iris. I knew the significance of the name, obviously, but we just couldn't bring ourselves to tell you. No.
But what you just told us, Mr. Sholmes, doesn't completely tie in with the facts. There's one big hole in your hypothesis. Big hole, East 8? Mistranslation.
Big hole, Miss Nut.
Okay.
Ah, yes. You mean about Asashin, I presume?
Of course.
Exactly. She wasn't killed, was she? She was in Japan, posing as a visiting student under the assumed name of Giselle Brett.
I'm glad you're keeping up, my dear fellow. But I only became aware of that fact 2 days ago in the foyer of the Great Waterloo Hotel. And upon hearing that startling revelation, the hypothesis that I formed surrounding those 4 names was completely turned topsy.
What? Topsy? What do you mean when you say your hypothesis was turned topsy, Mr. Sharp?
I believed all 4 names on the list to be the names of victims. However, I was mistaken. Very much so. Asashin was a killer. She was an assassin. Assassin. So this telegram is a list of both victims and killers, is it? Indeed. And it would seem that Miss Shin was dispatched from Britain with the sole intention of dispatching Dr. Wilson. Her visiting student status merely being a front.
Ah,
Which would of course explain why no motive could be determined for her actions.
so the real reason Dr. Wilson was killed by Sashin was because he was the target of assassination.
And forearmed with that knowledge, fresh consideration of this telegram puts the list in a very different perspective.
What do you mean?
Well, does it not strike you there is another among the 4 who subsequently became a visiting student?
Wait, you mean...
But of course, a name you know only too well.
You mean... Kazuma?
Oh!
He did say in court earlier today. Is Kazuma going to be the... yes. Is Kazuma going to be the murderer? That doesn't seem right, but...
Yes, on 31st of October, I accompanied Inspector Gregson to Dunkirk in order to carry out a mission.
And the mission was... the assassination of the monk.
Young Mr. Asorgius accepted that mission a year ago now.
Surely not.
In conclusion, this document is a contract of sorts. An international agreement, one might say, detailing an assassin exchange.
An assassin exchange? How could Kazuma possibly have got involved with something like that?
Let's assume we have 2 parties, each wishing to dispose of a distinct individual. Those 2 parties make a contract to swap their respective assassination targets. That would then be an assassination exchange.
So does that mean Lord Strongheart is the one that sent the telegram to Judge Jigoku, perhaps? That would make sense, considering Strongheart said he was training under him. Jigoku was training under him. Part of me also feels like this could completely be a red herring, you know? So, I don't know. This is interesting.
So to begin with, the British assassin is dispatched as a visiting student to Japan, where she kills her wicked target. And then the Japanese assassin is dispatched as a visiting student to Britain in order to eliminate his target. It certainly does sound like an exchange.
But, what on earth is the point?
Don't forget, Naruhodo, that the British assassin at least escaped conviction, thanks to diplomatic immunity afforded by consular jurisdiction.
Oh yes.
Such jurisdiction should be null and void under the terms of the new treaty between our 2 countries, so the fact that was brought into play suggests intervention at the very highest levels.
The highest levels.
These murders were 2 sides of the same coin, linked by a common motive, not by a common motive, but by contractual agreement. As such, they appeared utterly unrelated, Yet in truth, the assassins were complicit in one singular devilish scheme. That disassociation and the safeguard of diplomatic immunity were, I believe, the motivation behind this plot. But wait a minute, Sholmes. If this telegram really is describing the exchange of assassins as you're suggesting, it would mean that the Japanese killer's target was never Seishun or Jikoku at all. The Miyasogi's target was actually Inspector Gregson.
What? Cousin was here for Gregson? So Judge Jigoku wasn't actually the mom?
Yes, that's exactly what it would mean.
I hold myself personally responsible for failing to keep the inspector safe.
Mr. Sholmes.
I told him of my fears and implored him to seek a transfer to an overseas position, obviously, with the young pickpocket in tow.
Yes, Gina. Come to think of it, Inspector Gregson did mention that to us at the Great Exhibition. That he'd be transferring to the Paris police and taking Gina with him.
But without informing me, he engaged in one last assignment, it seems, and sadly, it turned out to be his very last.
This is too much to take in.
Alright, everyone, that's quite enough of all that serious talk for one day. Isn't it early? I mean, look at the time.
Ah, quite right, Iris. We must conclude our preparations for tomorrow.
What preparations?
Well, I think I shall make my way back to my hotel room now. This has certainly been a night to remember.
It is a little bit sad, though.
Hmm?
I mean, I like the idea of you being my daddy. Because then Susie would have been my big sister.
I'm sorry, Iris.
I know, Iris. I was thinking quite the same thing. Were you? But if someone like me were to be worthy, I'd be delighted to become your sister. What? Really? Oh yes, without question. So, you'll teach me all the ways you know to throw Bruno over the floor? Yes, of course. It would be my pleasure.
The angle she was on, she punched and it just completely obfuscated her face. You didn't have to agree quite so readily.
Oh, but wait a minute, if Susie's going to be my big sister, you could be my big brother if you want, Bruno.
Huh? I mean, yes, of course. If you have me, I'll gladly be your brother.
Well done, Iris. We must always be mindful of feelings. I phrased you so well. Ah ha ha ha! Now give me the pheasant!
Because being sensitive is your strong suit, naturally.
Right, I'm going to work extra hard for tomorrow now. Because it's for my big brother and sister.
My Oni-chan? One-chan? God. What is all this about preparing for tomorrow? Preparing what?
You'll just have to wait and see.
Oh.
Good luck in court tomorrow. I'm expecting a sterling performance.
I'll do my very best, of course. So the overnight break in the trial's proceedings became a crucial turning point, exposing new truths whilst posing new conundrums. That list of 4 names on the telegram in Judge Jigoku's office, and the extraordinary assassination plot in which my best friend had somehow become involved. I felt as though I had been plunged into an even greater darkness all of a sudden. But at the same time, I felt sure I would see the light again soon. Because I was lucky enough to have the most wonderful family in the world standing steadfastly behind me. That was a short to be continued. Oh god, we're really in the final stretch of the game, huh? I don't think I'm gonna finish tonight. I feel like this last trial's gonna be a while. Trial part 2, yeah. I feel like there are too many loose plot threads to resolve in a very short trial, you know? It's probably gonna take a while, you know? Like, we've got the...
Before we begin today, I have a brief announcement.
Before you announce something, I want to investigate this. What is this? A doorknob? You see these little things all over the place, don't you? It's a part on the top of a pocket watch you twist to set the time, isn't it?
It's called the crown, I believe. A watch would be quite useless without one.
The crown, like what sits on top of a monarch's head. That's a very grand name for such a tiny part. But actually,
Yes, Mr. Naruhodo.
if this is a crown, I have a feeling I might have seen a monarch around here with a very bare head.
By monarch, you mean pocket watch? Then I'm quite sure you have.
Okay. Does that mean we can attach it? What do you think, Mr. Sato?
If you're showing exactly what will fit here,
Really? I was just thinking precisely the same thing.
we're about to see that the little round component is actually part of Inspector Gregson's broken watch.
Really? I was just thinking precisely that too.
A perfect fit.
I knew it. Alright, perhaps you knew it. Perhaps you knew it.
I'll make a note of this new information at once.
Good. So I don't have to worry about that now.
Before we begin,
Oh wait, I already read that.
with the closed trial 10 years ago, some astonishing facts have come to light in these proceedings. The revelation that the well-known Reaper is actually an organization illegally executing its own brand of justice, and the discovery that a respected yard inspector was at its heart until he himself perished in an assassination plot. Well, I say to all the members of the judiciary here present on this occasion that we will stop at nothing to uncover the whole truth behind these disturbing findings. Counsels, you will undertake this trial with the resolve to pursue the truth to the bitter end.
Get it? Because Resolve's the title, and Pursue the Truth is the title of the songs. And in every Ace Attorney game? Resolve, yes. That's my intention.
My lord, if I may inquire, the defendant may speak. On what grounds is Kazuma Asogi permitted to continue his role as prosecutor? He is admitted to colluding with the victim in a plot to assassinate an innocent man. He shouldn't be enjoying the privilege of freedom, let alone be leading the prosecution. I submitted a written petition to Lord Strongheart, requesting that the judgment of my transgressions be delayed by 1 day. You did what?
In today's proceedings, I intend to expose everything. My whole life for the last 10 years has all been leading up to this one day. Kazuma, whatever the outcome of this trial, I give my word that I will accept whatever punishment is deemed appropriate, however severe. And I suggest you prepare yourself for the same. Reaper! Kazuma's bristling with hostility today. I get the distinct impression we're heading into a very dangerous territory.
Is that really even Kazuma-sama standing before us?
As an extreme exception to normal practices, I've granted this prosecutor's request. The defense finds this acceptable, I presume.
Yes, my lord.
In that case, in the name of Her Majesty of the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session again. We resume the closed hearing of Barak von Ziggs.
The defense is ready, my lord.
The prosecution is more than ready. Very well. This preamble has taken on long enough. Prosecutor Asogi, begin. As you wish, my lord. The prosecution calls for the first witness to the stand. Bring Seishiro Jigoku into the courtroom. At last then, we've reached the final battle. He's putting literally everything on the line now in order to get to the truth. Come on, Ryunosuke. It's time for that steely result. Because this is going to test it to the limit. Witness, state your name and occupation for the court.
So it was you who issued this, was it?
Your subpoena. I did what was necessary.
Ah ha ha! Well, look at what the young man has become. I didn't think I'd see the day when you take that tone with me, I must say.
The witness will ensure his responses are pertinent to the questions asked. Them saying resolve is like Lloyd Banning saying barrier. That's so true.
My name is Seishiro Jigoku, a Supreme Court judge from the Empire of Japan.
16 years ago, this man came to London as a visiting student. 6 years later, he returned to Japan. As well as presiding over the Supreme Court, he is also currently Japan's Minister of Foreign Affairs. Bad idea to be a Kiseki fan. I am of course fully aware of Mr. Jigoku and his preeminent roles. I invited him personally to the International Forensic Science Symposium as a representative of his country. I hear he also played a key role in the conclusion of the Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation.
Ah, it was a great honor to be involved in the negotiations. I put all my all into that treaty.
Judge Jigoku, I must ask.
Well, I never. Fancy the young murdering student turning up here of all places.
You acquitted me yourself, and now I'm a practicing defense lawyer.
Yes, and full of self-importance like your friend across the courtroom. I see.
Goku Fortnite. You came here to London by invitation. Did you guys not realize he has Goku in his name? Am I just pointing this out? Really? Okay. You came here to London by invitation to the International Forensic Science Symposium. But then, without informing anyone of your plans, you took flight to France. To France.
Took flight? I'd have to object to that turn of phrase.
Then explain yourself. What exactly were the circumstances? Would take flight actually be a phrase that they use? Like, when is that? I don't know. Play this on release. It's been about 18 months. Give me a break. Okay, fair enough.
Well, I was somewhat expecting this. And I'm sorry to say, I decline to comment.
What?
Leaving the country prematurely when as an invited guest may be questionable etiquette, but my decision is unrelated to this case. I can't be bound to testify.
Unrelated, you say?
I appreciate that as a respected police officer has been killed, for which I offer my condolences. However, being an alien, I've obviously never met the man, nor do I know the first thing about him. As such, I'm in no position to testify. It's as simple as that.
So you would run from all this?
I beg your pardon?
This case is more far-reaching than the murder of Inspector Gregson. It has ties to another murder. I guess that was tried in Japan almost a year ago now.
A year ago in Japan? The murder of John H. Wilson, you mean? That's right, and you, Judge Jigoku, are at the heart of both cases. The defense has evidence to prove it. Well, Ryunosuke, I see from the look in your eyes that you're resolved to carry this through to the bed. Okay, yeah, it really do be like that, huh?
Let's see your evidence then. What proof do you have that Seishiro Jigoku is involved in this case? I knew Kazuma reminded me of Edgeworth.
Take that!
From the very beginning of the game, but yes. This is a telegram detailing a communication sent between Britain and Japan approximately 1 year ago. The communication contained 4 names. K. Asogi, A. Shin, I keep reading as Shin, A. Shin, T. Gregson, and J. Wilson.
Hold it! You little! Where did you get that?
In Tokyo. From your office, Judge Jigoku.
What? How on earth did you?
What's all this about, then? Why is my name on that list? This list of 4 names follows a certain pattern. T. Gregson and J. Wilson are the names of victims. K. Asogi and A. Shin are the names of assassins. No. A year ago in Tokyo, Dr. John H. Wilson's life was taken at a Western-style restaurant at the capital. The culprit was found to be a visiting student who went by the name of Giselle Brett, but her real name was Asa Shin, a professional killer sent on a mission to kill from Great Britain.
A. Shin and her victim J. Wilson.
And the murder that just took place here in London was the counterpart to that crime. An assassin sent from Japan, also a visiting student, Kazuma Asogi, whose victim was the British police inspector Tobias Gregson.
K. Asogi and T. Gregson. One assassin from each country to a killer target residing in the other.
What exactly is the defense suggesting?
These 2 cases of murder, one that took place in Britain and one in Japan, were masterminded by a pair of individuals from each country as a form of assassin exchange. Assuming this is actually what went down, that's a really cool way to bookend this duology. And the telegram the defense has acquired is proof of this international contract to kill. What? The telegram was found in your office, Judge Jigoku. In other words, the mastermind in Japan was you.
Judge Jigoku, what's this all about?
And you, Kazuma, you lied. During yesterday's proceedings, you acknowledged you'd accepted the assassination mission, but the mark wasn't Judge Jigoku at all. It was T. Gregson, Detective Inspector of Scotland Yard, as shown by the name on the killing contract. Very impressive, Ryunosuke. But actually, I didn't lie. The name of the target I was ordered to kill never passed my lips yesterday. The idea that Seishiro Jigoku was the mark came entirely from you. You deliberately avoided saying a name, I remember this.
The defense claims that these 4 names indicate some sort of international assassin exchange. I'm sure I speak for all present when I say that the very idea seems utterly absurd. Absurd. Well, Mr. Jigoku, what do you have to say for yourself?
His silence only goes to prove his guilt.
There's another very important point that this new development brings to light. There's now a distinct possibility that the scene of Inspector Gregson's actual murder was in the witness's cabin aboard the SS Cruise.
Grouse, sorry. Judge Jigoku, you have to testify now. To refuse would put you in contempt of court.
Ha 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 ha! There's no need for quite such a vicious stare, young man. Very well then, as a parting gift to you all, I'll tell you everything I know.
It seems this Japanese gentleman has information that the court must hear about the alleged assassin exchange and the events of the night of the 31st of October. Present your formal testimony now.
As you wish, my lord. It's true that Kazuma Atsugi was assigned to assassination mission 1 year ago now.
The target was Inspector T. Gregson, and that was a condition of the British study tour.
Wow, he just admitted that, huh?
However, in the end, something happened that meant the young man was able to carry out his mission. On the evening in question, a member of the crew was on duty outside my cabin at all times. If there'd been a shot fired, the crewman would have heard it, so clearly I can't be involved.
Incorrect. So you admit it then? As this communication suggests, there really was an assassin exchange arrangement between Britain and Japan.
A political endeavor at the highest levels, not something I can discuss here.
To use such a worthy practice as foreign study to coerce someone to commit murder is the most appalling thing I've ever heard.
Appalling? Well, it's easy to judge.
Pardon?
Asogi had a reason for taking a sword to that British inspector, you know.
What? Oh, because he, identified from the autopsy. Genshin Asogi, I guess. What?
Which is why he accepted the mission in the first place. Isn't that right, Counsel?
That's an interesting expression.
Kazuma-sama?
Judge Shigoku, if you are the mastermind behind this operation in Japan, then tell the court the identity of your counterpart in Britain.
I'm not obliged to divulge that information.
As I said yesterday, I've killed no one. I freely admit that I accepted the mission, but on the night the plan was to be executed, I backed out. In short, this assassin exchange that the defense has identified is unrelated to the events of this case.
The crucial point is this. Your police inspector can't have perishable that steamship in Thunder, but because if he'd been shot in the cabin, it's inconceivable that a member of the crew wouldn't have heard it.
That's right. Gregson was killed after returning to London in the room on Fresno Street. And the perpetrator of the crime was the Reaper, Baruch von Zieks. The prosecution's accusation remains unchanged. To think that a seemingly innocent foreign exchange program was a facade for such
what the fuck is that word?
dealings. Clearly it's a plot that only a government minister and a high-ranking judge as the witness could hope to execute.
Well, I seem to recall there was someone on the British side who controlled everything.
It's gonna be this fucking man, isn't it?
Be that as it may, it is not the place of this court to pursue this villainous assassin exchange plot. We are concerned only with the tangible events pertaining to the murder of Inspector Gregson. Is the defense clear on that point, counsel?
Yes, my lord. I'll keep that in mind as I cross-examine the witness. Okay. I think, in the end, something happened that meant the young man was unable to carry out his mission. On the evening in question, a member of the crew was on duty outside the cabin. Do I have evidence to disprove this? Oh, wait, I know exactly what I'm supposed to present here. Hold on. Why would this be in... Why would we have found this in the fucking, trash can?
Objection!
Yes, as the court has heard, there was a crewman posted outside Judge Jigoku's cabin. However, we can't be sure that, contrary to the witness's claim, the guard wasn't there at all times. What? I have here a notice of a particular event that was scheduled to take place aboard the steamship on the 31st.
What? Where did you get that?
From the trash bin in your fucking room! Did you not expect us to find that? It's evidence gathered by Mr. Herlock Sholmes. You were acquainted yesterday, if you remember.
Herlock Sholmes again!
According to this itinerary,
After leaving the port of Dunkirk at exactly 10 p.m. for a period of 20 minutes, all crewmen of the SS Grouse were to gather on deck for an evacuation drill.
All crewmen were away from their posts.
And during that 20-minute interval, of course, any gunshots emanating from your cabin would have been heard by no one. In summary, Judge Jigoku, you had ample opportunity to commit the crime. Ah!
Objection!
A 20-minute window of opportunity. That's an excellent find, Yunosuke, but it amounts to nothing.
Why?
Because the witness clearly stated in his testimony that no incident occurred in his cabin, unless you have some decisive evidence that can show his testimony to be false. Your accusation is nothing more than conjecture.
Very true. Well, counsel.
Inspector Gregson was killed in Judge Jigoku's cabin that night. I'm certain of it. Because the defense has evidence to prove it. It's gonna be the crown.
You will present the evidence for the defense at once, Count. What proof do you have that the victim's life was taken in Jigoku's cabin on 31st of October?
Take that!
Judge Jigoku, this was found in your cabin yesterday.
What is that? The crown of a pocket watch.
A pocket watch?
And if you will observe, the victim's pocket watch, which we know he treasured, is missing precisely that part.
It can't be.
Moreover, this crown is a perfect fit on the spindle protruding from the victim's watch. Now, the fact is that this was retrieved from Judge Jigoku's cabin tells us that the victim's watch almost certainly broke there. In other words, the victim was killed on the 31st during the 20-minute evacuation drill. In the cabin occupied by you, Judge Jigoku.
Well, you're razor sharp, aren't you, you young murderer?
Objection!
He's still calling us murderer. Expertly maneuvered. Ryunosuke.
And your argument sounds entirely plausible at first. But rather like this pocket watch, it's full of cracks.
What? Xenogears reference?
And I believe Judge Jigoku feels the same way. I was wrong to acquit you earlier in the year.
Sorry?
If I'd known that it would result in everyone having to listen to this drivel,
Oh, it's Xenoblade 2 Chapter 4.
I would have declared you guilty just to spare the world your ridiculous bombast.
I think it's clear that the witness will have to give further testimony.
When you hear what actually happened in my cabin that night, you'll notice the pitfall into which you've stumbled.
Prior to your renewed testimony, I would like to clarify one point. The fact that this part of victim's watch was discovered in your cabin means that you acknowledge that he was there, I presume.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Very well, then. You may proceed to give formal testimony about what happened exactly in your room aboard the ship on the evening of the 31st October.
I know I fucked up that sentence. Ignore it.
Of course, as a man of the law, I have no intention of obstructing justice. I had a guest waiting for me when I returned to my cabin after finishing my evening meal in the dining room. When I walked in through the door, a mustached Englishman was there, foolishly waving a gun at me. A gun at me. I soon took care of him with an ippon soy throw, though he couldn't wait to run away after that. Imagine his watch was broken when I threw him over my shoulder. It has nothing to do with his murder. The inspector was clearly killed, having returned to Britain, because his body was found in London.
Okay.
Ipponsei?
A common jiu-jitsu martial arts technique in my country. I was careful not to use too much force, but the man obviously landed too heavily for his watch to take.
So, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I imagine you can see the flaw in your logic now, can't you?
What?
The fact that the pocket watch was broken in the witness's cabin in no way proves that the victim's murder took place there.
Ah! I've no doubt the inspector intended to kill me, but he didn't manage to pull the trigger.
Yes, because he was merely the tactician, not the Reaper's hand of death. Well, the testimony appears to make perfect sense as far as I can tell.
Let me express my deep gratitude for your understanding, my lord.
But if this testimony holds, Judge Jigoku will be deemed to have no involvement in the case.
Well, counsel, I really see no reason for wasting precious court time in a cross-examination.
Sorry, my lord. The defense has a right to cross-examine, and I don't intend to squander that.
You're an embarrassment to your countrymen, not knowing when you're beaten.
In that case, proceed, Mr. Naruhodo.
Alright. Who is your guest?
Hold it!
Because the so-called guard posted at your cabin door had just let your killer pass, you mean?
Apparently, Gregson told the crewman he was a police inspector, which was the truth, of course.
He wouldn't have had his identification with him, though.
He had his trench coat and mustache, not to mention the bag of chips. I imagine the crewman was convinced.
But the man accompanying him would have had two swords slung around his waist. You mean me? Who else?
Yes, that's true. You would have hoped the sight of a few swords might have set alarm bells in the guard's head.
The point is, I left the cabin before its occupant returned, and I immediately disembarked the ship.
Certainly, all I can tell you is only the inspector was waiting for me when I arrived back to my cabin.
And you entered without any inkling of suspicion.
That's right, none whatsoever.
Okay.
Mustachoi.
I don't even know how to pronounce that. Obviously, you're talking about Inspector Gregson.
Yes, though at the time I didn't know the man's name. And there was no time for introductions. I value my life over manners.
By which you mean that the inspector was there to assassinate you, I suppose.
That was certainly the impression given by the gun pointing in my direction, but I've never seen the muzzle of a revolver shake about so much in my life. I don't think the man had ever shot somebody before.
Believe it or not, most of us haven't.
Anyway, there was no one to call for the help of the crewman at the door, so I dealt with the man myself.
Hold it!
Even though the man had a gun, that was a very brave move, wasn't it?
Ha 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 ha! My Iponsei?
Seoi, I think. Why do I keep saying I think?
It's far faster than a bullet, I can assure you.
But surely all that commotion caused the crewman to come in, didn't it?
Yes, of course. He burst in immediately without knocking. The inspector hurled himself at the stocky fellow and just managed to slip past him to make his escape.
The outstanding guard does it again.
Luckily, there aren't many situations I can't get out of using quick Iponsei throw.
Hold it!
The crown snapped off and the glass covering the face of the watch was cracked.
Preferable to the man's head being pulled off his spine cracking. Wouldn't you say?
Not that the man was spared for long. A bullet to the chest soon sorted that.
But the point is, the broken pocket watch doesn't prove that a murder took place.
Absolutely not. Although what proves is the power of my jujitsu throw.
Whatever you say. Doesn't quite ring true that no shot was fired in the cabin, because there was an obvious bullet hole in the wall.
Ah ha ha! What are you talking about? That's what the stuff your lowbrow detective story has told you, is it? Well, I don't care for such fiction. Haven't you worked it out yet, you little stripling? No murder took place in my cabin.
We don't have evidence to prove that, yeah. Do I present the autopsy report on this, actually?
No. That didn't work. Updating the autopsy report. Yeah.
Hold it!
But there's no evidence that proves the victim ever returned to London alive.
Just take a moment to think that idea of yours through now, stripling.
What?
If the inspector was killed on the steamship in France, how on earth could he have got back to Britain? When people die, their bodies remain at that same spot. It's a devil of a thing.
Well, then... obviously the culprit must have moved the body.
How exactly? Carrying a corpse off a ship in your arms would raise a few eyebrows at least, don't you think?
Well, yes. That's true, but...
All passenger luggage is expected when it is unloaded from arriving vessels, and I would like to think the border police would query the corpse of an English gentleman as hand luggage.
if the murder had taken place aboard the ship, you would imagine the body would have been disposed of at sea. There would be no sense in risking being caught by attempting to transport the body back to Britain. That killed that idea then.
But perhaps not.
Mr. Sato?
We've heard that the first-class passengers were under constant scrutiny by the crewmen posted to guard them, which would mean that the culprit had no opportunity to dispose of the body in the sea.
Yes, that's true. So transporting the body to Britain may have been the only viable alternative.
Dear me, you really are new to this, aren't you? I thought I'd been perfectly clear, but it seems I'm going to have to explain it in words you can understand. I think I ought to alter my testimony with your consent, of course, my lord.
I have no objections to your amended testimony now.
In a possible way, I could have transported the victim's corpse back to Britain. No fucking way!
Objection!
No fucking way! He was there?! I was wondering why this photo would be evidence of something. I was like, why? I remember when it got added to the court record, I was like, oh no, why is this photo being added to the court record? What does this mean? Oh my god. That's so fucking morbid. What the fuck? There's no possible way you could have moved Inspector Gregson's body, you say? I would say the opposite is true.
And what's that supposed to mean?
Far from being impossible for you to do. The transporting of Inspector Gregson's body back to Britain is only something only you could do. And only you could do.
What are you talking about, Ryunosuke?
As well as being a judge, Mr. Jikoku is also Japan's Minister of Foreign Affairs. Which means he's exempt from having his luggage searched when he enters the country. We learned that when we first met you upon your arrival in London.
Well, all those passport checks and luggage searches at the border took rather a lot of time. I must say I'm very envious of your ministerial status. You didn't have to go through any of that. Did you? I knew you were jealous. Ah!
God, it was in the oh no, that's so fucking morbid! What the fuck? I presume you recall this, Judge Jigoku. Gregson was in the photograph all along. Oh my god, that... What the fuck? I can't look at this photograph the same. It looks so nice, but then... I guess Jigoku isn't even smiling, huh? Is that subtle foreshadowing? Is that meant to be subtle foreshadowing? It's a photograph we took in the foyer of the hotel to mark the occasion. As the court will note, you have with you your large travel trunk. Large enough, in fact, to have a corpse inside.
But Mr. Naruhodo, surely you're not suggesting...
I'm afraid I am, yes. 3 days ago, when we were chatting innocently with the new arrivals from Japan in the hotel, the body of Inspector Gregson was just meters away from us, inside Judge Jigoku's trunk.
Order in the court! I'm skeptical, counsel, that a grown man's body could fit inside even the largest travel trunk.
It could.
because I happen to know that the witness himself, a man of considerable size, fits inside his trunk. And verifying that would be extremely simple. Wouldn't it, Judge Jigoku?
But inside his trunk. How horrifying.
And after we'd spoken with you at the Great Waterloo Hotel, you had the opportunity to visit the apparent scene on Fresno Street, taking your trunks with you into a cab to deposit this inspector's body.
I don't have to listen to this nonsense!
Dr. Gori, the coroner who examined the body, has confirmed the possibility. She's acknowledged there are signs that steps may have been taken to disguise the true time of death. The onset of the body's decomposition could have been delayed by storing it in a refrigerator.
Counsel, as I remember explaining yesterday, refrigerators of the requisite size are few and far between.
Yes, I'm sure they are. But one place they're certainly found is on large ocean liners. Such ships are equipped with electrically refrigerated cold rooms to store food fresh on their long sea voyages. And the SS Grouse is no exception. Professor Mikotoba told me about it only yesterday. Well, Judge Jigoku. However much you prolong this debate, you can't eliminate the truth. All the evidence points to you being the killer.
Well, this is all very heartening. I can see that it was a wise move, letting Asogi and you embark on this study tour.
What are you talking about now?
Logically reasoning, of course. All court proceedings will be built on logical reasoning in the new century. And I can see that you've both laid firm foundations for that already.
Judge Jigoku, please stop diverting attention from the issue at hand. The defense has made an accusation against you. How do you respond?
Respond? There's really no need for me to respond, is there?
Why ever not?
Because before you can even begin to answer the question when the victim was killed, you must first establish one key fact. Where was the victim killed? It's quite logical.
The actual scene of the crime. The prosecution stance is unaltered. The killing took place on Fresno Street when the gunshot was heard. As the accused, Barak von Zeke, shot the victim at point-blank range.
Since no tangible evidence exists to disprove the prosecution's claim at this time, the defense's deductions amount to little more than elaborate fairy tale.
I'm afraid that the logical reasoning the British are known for really works, young stripling.
The victim was shot in that little room on Fresno Street and died instantly? I'm afraid it's the prosecution's claim. That's the only fairy tale here.
How can you say that?
Quite simply, because that claim directly contradicts a certain piece of evidence in our possession.
Very tantalizing, counsel.
Tantal night? Tantal day?
I think you had better explain yourself to the court, don't you?
The prosecution claims that Inspector Gregson died instantly when he was shot at the scene on Fresno Street. But this evidence clearly contradicts that claim. Which evidence? Which evidence? Wait, what? Hold on. I'm blanking. Wait, what? It can't be this. Can't be this. The only, like, I can think of the revolver because it has no bullets. Like, its barrel was full, right? Engraved with a unique serial number, if I can tell, there's nothing like that on this gun.
Tells us that it must have been issued longer ago than that.
Right.
Okay. What contradicts that evidence?
Do we say autopsy report again? That seems a bit... There's nothing about it not having been fired, but... Accurate estimation of the time of death is not possible, yeah. Huh?
Take that!
No. So the ones I'm thinking of is autopsy report. If it's not the autopsy report, then... So we're trying to contradict the fact that he died instantly in the Fresno room. Is it the shot itself?
Take that!
Yeah, okay. I don't know why, but...
A photograph of the victim in the very location you claim he wasn't killed.
Yes, but the point is, the posture of the body itself. Yeah. If Inspector Gregson had been shot there in that room, it's out of the question that his body would have been curled up in a ball like that.
Objection! I'm sorry to disappoint you, but your logic is flawed.
God, I love the music just coming in and developing like that. That's so... sorry.
He could easily have adopted that fatal position due to the pain of the shot, which subsequently proved fatal.
I'm sorry to disappoint you, Judge Jigoku, but it's your logic that is flawed.
What?
According to this autopsy report, the victim died instantly. He would have felt no pain, much less have been able to draw himself into that position.
Ah!
Which begs the question of why the victim's body is curled up that way, in that way. Though, the answer should be abundantly clear by now.
You're suggesting...
The inspector's body took on that posture ahead of its arrival on Fresno Street, before it was coldly turned out on the floor, from the inside of a large travel trunk.
No! You're quite right. The shape of the body looks exactly as if it had been kept in a confined space.
Judge Jigoku, present your trunk for examination. I believe it's very possible that it will contain traces of the victim's blood.
Ah! Present my trunk! I refuse!
What? On what grounds?
I'm the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Empire of Japan! I shouldn't have to put up with the treatment just because of some stripling baseless accusations!
In other words, Judge Jigoku, there's blood in your trunk.
I decline to answer that! As a Minister of Foreign Affairs, I have privileges that allow me to...
At this moment, you're not a government minister. You're a witness in a trial in Britain's highest court. I don't care who you are or what your status outside this courtroom might be. You will not withhold with information. Nothing is more important than the truth. Ah!
Order in court. Well, Mr. Jigoku, what's it to be?
You can't be serious. You did it.
Have you no shame at all, Kazuma Sogi?
What? I love Ryunosuke. He's so fucking good!
Very well, I admit it. I did bring the inspector's body into the country. Inside my trunk. Exactly as postulated by the defense.
He's now gonna...
Dear God, outrageous.
He's now gonna accuse Kazuma. So it was you? You admit to Inspector Gregson's murder?
No, I admit to nothing more than what I've said. Of killing the man, I certainly have no recollection.
What on earth is that cryptic statement supposed to mean?
I mean, he disposed of the inspector's body, which was left in my cabin, in order to avoid unwanted attention. As the judicial assistant over there pointed out, I have no chance to throw it into the ocean. So I decided my only option was to bring it to Britain with me and dispose of it somewhere else.
You still can't deny it. If you didn't do it, then who on earth did kill the man?
As you know, there was one other person in my cabin that night. He had the opportunity. And moreover, he'd already accepted a mission to take the inspector's life.
Oh,
That's right! Who else could it have been? It was you, Kazuma Sogi!
You. I never thought you'd stoop to this, Seishiro Jigoku.
You've taken the words straight out of my mouth. Prosecutor, Kazuma Sogi. You thought by leaving the body in my cabin you would pin the crime on me, did you?
Well, the prosecution counsel has already admitted to visiting the witness cabin on the night in question.
Yes, on an assassination mission, no less.
You wouldn't.
So, what do you make of that, young stripling? You've heard my testimony now, and now that's all I have to say on the matter. I'll admit to nothing more.
I don't believe this.
Counsel for the defense, what is your position now? The court awaits your response to the witness's assertion. The assertion that on the night in question, the victim's assailant was in fact Mr. Kazuma Asogi.
This isn't the dead end it seems to be. The answer's right in front of me. It comes down to Jigoku, or Kazuma. Both of them had the opportunity to kill Gregson, but only one of them did it. And I'm just a step away from proving who. Very well. The defense is ready to respond to the assertion put forward by the Judge Jigoku. The idea that the victim's murder could have been committed by Prosecutor Asogi is... Yeah, I know. A step away. I looked at that. I'm like, a step away. And it's also, like, highlighted in orange. I'm gonna say impossible, and we have to prove it. I'm guessing that's where this narration, the narrative is going. Narrative is going here. Judge Jigoku, let me remind you of something you said only a few minutes ago. You claim that logical reasoning is the future of the judicial process.
It is, no question.
Well, logical reasoning can prove something here. Namely, that it would have been impossible for the prosecutor Asogi to commit the crime.
What?
The court will only accept an argument if it's supported by compelling evidence. So present what you have, counsel. What proof is there that allegedly demonstrates the impossibility of prosecuting Asogi's involvement? God, this music's so good.
Now, is it the passport?
Take that!
No, thank you. Man's like, oh, you're fucking up. Shut up. Don't convict me. All right. Okay, what makes it impossible for him to have committed the murder? Let me think about this. His armband. Imagine the final piece of evidence we have to present in this game is Kazuma's armband. That'd be fucking insane. Okay. Now, what makes it impossible for him to have done it? I don't think anything here is relevant. Why is it impossible?
Take that!
No. No. Okay. I need to think this through a bit more. It's also possible that I forgot to inspect a piece of evidence, but I don't think that's it this time. Alright. I should also probably save on the presenting screen now I think about it. One piece of evidence that makes it impossible for him to have done it. What is it?
Take that!
I didn't think so. This is the moment where I'm starting to present just random information. Let me think.
Take that!
No. I already presented the trunk, right? So it can't be that either. Evidence is absolutely balling right now. Yeah. The Sorgi coin on the prize.
Take that!
Making the evidence weep here. Okay, I'm actually kind of lost here. Impossibility of Prosecutor Sorgi's involvement. So what? Let's see. The victim's murder could have been committed Prosecutor Sorgi. Wasn't the gun? I mean, it could just save and reload and present absolutely everything. I get the feeling... Is the Venus firecracker? That doesn't make sense. That's a report.
Take that!
The gun of the members of the Juicer Syria? No, okay, no, okay. Okay. Shit. Shit! I'm lost! Redhead is not what I'm looking for. What does this say again? First class cabin 01, Yokohama departure. Okay. Okay.
Take that!
God, I must be making such a fool of myself. Is it the pocket
Take
watch?
that!
No. Oh my god, what the fuck? I'm lost. Hold on. Hold on, hold on. I'm not thinking this through, am I? God, I'm gonna be stuck here. I don't want to be stuck here.
Take that!
Okay, that's the only last thing I hadn't presented, so I'm like, okay. This itinerary for crew members of the SS Grouse, my lord. This is conclusive proof.
An itinerary? How does that prove anything?
Judge Jigoku, the moment you acknowledge that you found the victim's body in your cabin, this itinerary suddenly became much more significant.
What? Why?
On the night in question, as always, a crewman's sentry was on guard outside your cabin door. As long as he was there, nobody could have fired a shot inside the cabin.
Absolutely, because it's inconceivable that God wouldn't have heard it and come to investigate.
So that tells us that the crime itself must have taken place when the guard was elsewhere. And that narrows it down to 20 minutes just after 10 o'clock, as indicated on the itinerary.
Yes, I see no flaw in your reasoning so far.
But the crucial point is this: when the evacuation drill took place, the steamship had already put to sea from the port of Donko.
Ah! Now, clearly the murderer could only have committed by somebody who was aboard the vessel at the time. But Prosecutor Sorgi stated in yesterday's proceedings.
I didn't come to Great Britain to take anyone's life,
Oh, I forgot he left the ship.
so left Gregson and disembarked the ship. I spent the night at a boarding house in town, and returned to England the following morning.
Which I'm sure the court will agree is conclusive proof that Kazuma Sorgi couldn't possibly have carried out the killing. Gotcha.
No, absolutely not. I don't accept that at all.
What do you mean?
The boy's just saying that to exonerate himself. We can't trust that he really doesn't mark the federal. After he left my cabin, he hid himself somewhere nearby on the ship. Just waiting for his chance to come back to finish the...
No, that's out of the question. Isn't it, Kazuma? Because we can check the records of the place he stayed.
As the defense rightly records,
I disembarked the vessel and spent the night at a boarding house in Donko.
and as I said yesterday, I signed my name in the accommodations register book. All extremely easy to verify and undeniable proof.
Ah, no,
There's no escape this time. You can forget that you're a judge or a government minister. It's time you gave the court an honest answer. As a common man, you killed Inspector Tobias Gregson and transported his corpse back to Britain. Then you dumped the body on the room in Fresno Street and made it look as if the murder had happened there. That's what really happened, isn't it? Seishiro Jigoku?
It was that damn trial 10 years ago. That's when it all began.
Holy shit.
Looking back now, my fate was decided that day. I was doomed already.
Yeah! Okay.
It's over! My life is over!
Damn.
British assassin to eliminate a professor in Japan, or Japanese assassin to eliminate a detective in Britain.
Both assassins will use diplomatic immunity to evade convictions.
Did the wood float up? I know, right?
And return safely to their homelands. The assassin exchange request arrived from Britain about 1 year ago. Though it was hardly a request, it was a demand.
And for that, you decide to recruit Mr. Asorgi. But things didn't go according to plan. Your chosen assassin never made it to Britain. And you found yourself unable to dispatch a replacement. Because I was already on my way to Britain at that time, in Kazuma's place.
And that left me with only one option for carrying out my obligation. To eliminate the mark myself, personally. Of course, there was but a single opportunity for me to do that.
The International Forensic Science Symposium, I presume.
That's right.
MB, check Discord. I love all 5 people. No. Oh no. Oh no, I hate you. Also, why is that? Oh wait, no, that photo was colored the first time we saw it, yeah. Okay. I'm gonna fucking cry.
That's right. I decided it'd be safest to carry out the plan before my arrival in Britain. So I enlisted the help of my British counterpart. I made arrangements for a pretext that would take the inspector to Dunkirk. To lure the man in, he was given a sham mission by the Reaper.
What? The Reaper? But there's only one person who could have done that. The mastermind of the entire operation. The Reaper himself. Ah! So, that means that the assassin exchange was all planned by the Reaper? I sent that to the bank ages ago while watching your stream. I was waiting painfully to send it to you.
I'm not at liberty to say anything about my British counterpart. Anyway, the inspector accepted the Reaper's mission and had dutifully infiltrated my cabin on the occasion. Was all a trap designed to lead him to France, and his own death.
Oh, how awful.
It was past 9 o'clock when I returned to my cabin from the dining hall that evening. I didn't give him time to attack me. I choked him until he lost consciousness. But there was a guard just outside the door, so I left it at that for the time being. Even the slightest noise might have aroused suspicion, so I bided my time waiting.
For the 20 minutes after 10 o'clock.
I'd intended to finish him by strangulation, but moments before I had the chance, he suddenly came round and went for a reckless move. I received a British-issued gun 16 years ago. Being a member of the judiciary as a visiting student, I never imagined I'd have to use it again for something like this.
So the revolver belongs to you, does it?
Then the victim was killed inside your cabin on the SS Grouse. Which begs the question of why you arranged for his body to be discovered in the room of Fresno Street.
The young judicial assistant over there has already answered that question. There was no way I could take the body up onto deck and throw it over the side. That's precisely where all the crewmen were gathered, for the evacuation drill. So before the first-class cabin sentries return, I took the corpse into the refrigeration room.
Then on arriving in Dover, you concealed the body in your trunk in order to smuggle it past the border police.
I knew I needed to take steps if the police were to be convinced when the body was found in London.
In that case, you must have known. You must have had intimate details of Inspector Gregson's intended schedule.
Yes, my British counterpart sent me everything I needed to know. The inspector was due at Fresno Street at 5 o'clock after that afternoon, not to meet a man by the name of Hugh Boone, from whom he would take back his police identification.
Ah,
I decided that man would be the perfect person to set up as the culprit. So I took a hackney carriage over there with the body who's still in my trunk.
that must have been just after we took this photograph with you at the hotel then. Look at all 5 people in this photo.
Yes, I wasn't expecting a welcoming committee, but I was more than a little nervous. On Fresno Street, I spotted a young girl selling firecrackers.
Miss Venus, of course.
I conceived of the candle trick there and then. So I donned a simple disguise and approached a girl to buy enough firecrackers to replicate a gunshot.
You think Gregson is enjoying his fish and chicken photo? Fuck. Fuck! What sort of disguise?
For some reason, the inspector had a bright red headpiece of his own traveling day, so I put that on. Although I suspect I drew more attention to myself than I would have otherwise.
The hairpiece we found at the scene. The inspector had it ready for the Red-Headed League investigation.
Only arrived at the room around 5:15, so I quickly placed the body on the floor, moved the notice board, and set up my little candle trick. I arranged it so the firecrackers would go off with a bang around 15 minutes later.
So that Mr. Boone, who was due to arrive in 5, would walk straight into a trap.
Except, at the last moment, I made a careless blunder.
What was that?
I imagine it was a bag of fish and chips.
Ah!
I didn't notice that it had fallen out of his overcoat pocket when I moved the body to the refrigeration room. Put it back into his pocket the following morning, but... well, it seems the warmth of the heated cabin had accelerated the decay of the fish.
They're probably rotten.
Anyway, that's everything. All the sordid details of what I did.
There's still loose ends. We haven't covered everything. This game is not over yet.
I've heard enough. We've arrived at the truth about the murder on one of the country's most capable and respected police inspectors. The witness will be tried in the coming days. For a crime of such a vile nature, you can expect the most severe penalty.
An exchange of assassins. What a foolhardy idea.
Mr. Jigoku, one last detail. Who was your counterpart in Britain? Who was the mastermind behind the assassin exchange? Nothing you say now can make matters any worse for you. Just tell us.
Enough! I've already told you that I cannot say.
Even though as things stand, you may very well never set foot in your homeland again.
What are you waiting for? Can't we get it over with now? It's finished. All of it. I'm finished.
Then, in the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I now pronounce the findings of this court. This man before us has admitted to the willful murder of Tobias Gregson.
Excuse me?
Seishiro Jigoku, it is the opinion of this court that you should be found.
Hey, remember when you said Jigoku's name translated to hell? Yeah.
Am I...
I was like, wait, why is he giving Jigoku, a guilty verdict? Aren't we supposed to get a not guilty for Van Zieks?
And I may remind all those present of the strict confidentiality demanded by this closed court. Moments ago, Mr. Jigoku signed a written confession,
Was guilty for Mr. Jiggles.
admitting to the murder of Inspector Gregson and the subsequent conveyance of the body. In short, the defendant's innocence is therefore been established beyond doubt.
Oh, wonderful. Well done, Mr. Naruhodo.
Yes, thank you. They're gonna extend the trial by saying he's still the Reaper who planned it.
Is something wrong?
Yes, something is wrong. I'm just a little troubled by his silence.
The true identity of the Reaper of the Bay and this extraordinary assassin exchange. We do remain in the dark about these mysteries. However, insofar as the indictment brought against the defendant in the trial, we've reached a conclusion. I have every intention of pursuing both mysteries as a prosecutor. As you wish. Now, for the formal adjudication. I hereby declare the defendant, Baruch von Zieks.
Objection!
Objection!
Knew it!
The prosecution calls for adjudication to be deferred. Counsel,
The accused's innocence hasn't been fully established at all, and therefore it would be wrong to deliver a verdict at this time. That is the prosecution's unwavering position. What?
But Judge Jikoku has already confessed.
Nevertheless, Baroque von Zieks has committed a crime for which he must be punished.
Well, it would appear you have information that the court needs to hear, Prosecutor Tsuki.
Certainly, the murder of Inspector Crichton was actually carried out by Seishiro Jigoku. But it's clear from the witness's testimony that he was coerced into complying with the plot into this sick, merciless assassin exchange.
That may be true, but
So what I want to know is, who coerced Jigoku? Oh crap, not saying any more than that, okay. Who was pulling the strings? The victim went to France, having been ordered on a mission for the Reaper, only to be murdered. In other words, the mastermind behind the assassin exchange is someone in a position to give such an order. As we've already established, the Reaper himself.
Well, certainly that would appear to follow.
I still reckon the Reaper is a strong heart, but, you know.
The prosecution hereby formally accuses the man in the dock, Baroque von Zieks, of being the Reaper of the Bailey, and furthermore, I'm going to prove his guilt beyond all reasonable doubt.
what?
Order, order, order! The Reaper of the Bailey is a long-standing mystery counsel. Are you suggesting you have some new information with to build a case?
Scotland Yard has already investigated Lord Van Zieks very thoroughly in that regard, and they found no evidence whatsoever to substantiate the claim that he's the Reaper.
Perhaps, but circumstances have now changed. What do you mean? It's already been established that the assassination exchange was negotiated with Jigoku by the Reaper himself, which means we now have a new line of questioning by which to identify definitively the man's identity. That is the prosecution's intention here.
I must say, I'm surprised by quite how tenaciously you appear to want to besmirch my name.
You are guilty of an unforgivable crime, Lord Van Zieks. And I will bring you to justice for it, whatever it takes. That explains Kazuma's silence before. He'll stop at nothing to finish what Lord Van Zieks unwittingly started 10 years ago.
Very well, whilst it's extremely irregular. I will on this occasion grant the prosecution's further opportunity for witness testimony. The defendant will disclose any and all involvement he had with the Reaper and the assassin exchange.
I thank you, my lord, for guiding the court so wisely.
I hereby declare this court to be in session for supplementary hearing. Pray turn a blind eye to the discourtesy as I verify that this vile and unremitting accusation hasn't soured the contents of my hallowed chalice.
Lord Van Zieks?
I first had to suffer the pseudonym of the Reaper 10 years ago now, and ever since that time, I've endured the weight of implied guilt that's gone with it. So I welcome the chance to testify now and crush those allegations once and for all.
Why did I try to bite on a lemon? Isn't he a suspect? Why is he allowed in the courtroom? Good. Then let justice decide, Lord Van Zieks. The prosecution seeks to begin building its case by calling the accused to the stand as the primary witness in order that he may answer the accusation brought in the prosecution, that he is the Reaper of the Bailey.
And what says the defense?
Putting the defendant in the witness stand can be extremely dangerous, and Kazuma-sama is so emotional at the moment, he's not thinking logically.
You're right that he's not himself, but I knew it would be like this, and I came here today determined to face some through whatever might arise as a lawyer and as his friend.
And that's what we must do.
The defense is no objection, my lord. It's been an age I finished the game, and I still can't believe they just killed Gregson. Yeah, holy shit.
Very well, defendant. You will take the witness stand.
I can't believe they killed Gregson, and the first thing I did was look up Fire Emblem Engage Nintendo Switch Online icons.
And give formal testimony on the subject of your involvement with the Reaper and the Assassin's Exchange. As you wish, my lord.
Near that Sigurd profile picture? Indeed.
I've never taken a life of another, nor have I instructed another to kill. I've been investigating the truth behind the Reaper for years, and I was aware of Gregson's involvement. That's the reason why I went to Fresno Street that day, and how I came to discover the body. The point is, no common thread exists between myself, Gregson, and Dr. Wilson. Clearly, therefore, there's no reason to suspect me of being behind the Assassin Exchange. So you deny all accusations by the prosecution?
How do I cross-examine this?
Both that you are the Reaper of the Bailey and that you masterminded the Assassin Exchange. I acknowledge that the public at large believe me to be the Reaper. However, that's a fallacy, which I alone am in a position to forswear.
Naturally, the prosecution believes the testimony given by the accused to be untrue. Ryunosuke Naruhoro. Yes? Let me ask you, why are you here? What really brings you to this courtroom? A desire to uncover the truth. Even if the truth proves your client to be guilty? After McGilded? Yeah, probably. From all my experiences in this courtroom, I've come to realize something. The truth can't be hidden. Sooner or later, it will come out. So it's always my intention to work with my client in pursuit of the truth. I want you to remember what you just said.
Enough dilatory chatter. Counsel for the defense, proceed to cross-examine the witness.
Ah, yes, my lord. I know exactly what you're thinking, Kazuma. I know you're just waiting to point it out. The contradiction you're convinced lies somewhere within this man's testimony. To Fresno Street and how I came to discover the body. The point is, no common thread exists between myself, Gregson, and Wilson. I feel like... Do I have to present that? Do I have to present that fucking image? It's probably wrong.
Objection!
Yeah, I knew it would be wrong. Alright. 5 people. God damn it. Okay. Therefore, there's no reason to suspect me of being behind the Assassin Exchange. Oh, wait! Wait. I know exactly what to present here.
Objection!
There. I was onto it.
What is this, an autopsy report? Wait, this is 10 years old. From the autopsy of Lord Knight Van Zieks. What? My brother's autopsy report? I'm pleased to see the defense doesn't intend to run from the undeniable truth. Order in the court. What reason do you have for presenting a 10-year-old autopsy report here, counsel?
This is the autopsy report of the professor's final victim. Is an indelible link between Inspector Gregson, Dr. Wilson, and the defendant.
Not that accursed name again. The Professor.
I've personally researched all the court records relating to that case. I know that at the time the autopsy was considered sacrilege to the victim's souls. And for a member of the aristocracy, like Lord Client von Zix, it was unthinkable. But someone implored the powers that allow the autopsy to go ahead. Inspector Gregson. He declared that he was certain that he would obtain the conclusive proof from the procedure.
And it was Dr. Wilson who conducted the autopsy. His signature is clearly visible in the document.
As promised by Gregson, the autopsy did indeed produce evidence. Evidence that conclusively proved Genshin Asogi was guilty of the murders. In my brother's dying moments, he mustered all his remaining strength to leave that vital clue behind.
Are we gonna be getting Mikko Torben to the fucking witness stand?
Indeed, that was the key to indicting the professor for his crimes, and the conclusive evidence that convicted him. It enabled Lord Von Zix here to avenge his brother's senseless death with a marvelous victory in court. The publishers of Daemon X Machina, the hit game for Nintendo Switch, later ported to PC via Epic Games Store.
A marvelous victory, was it? The publishers of the hit Nintendo Switch game Daemon X Machina later ported to PC via Epic Games Store. I wonder if that's really true.
What?
Could the same be said if it turned out that the key piece of evidence in question was in fact fabricated? If the inspector, the coroner, and the prosecutor all colluded together to cast an innocent Japanese man as a mass murderer and send him to his death?
That's outrageous!
And now, 10 years later, for some reason the secret has been threatened and needs protecting. Which is why the inspector and the coroner had to be silenced, isn't it? By someone in power of Japan and in Britain, using the two killers recruited for the assassin exchange.
All at once?
10 years ago, my father was convicted in this very courtroom as a mass murderer to be sentenced to death. But it was all a sham, and I swore to myself I'd prove it, which is why I had to come to Britain. Hold up. Fuck. Whatever the cost.
You'll have to forgive me if I feel compelled to toast this vengeful Nipponese tenacity of purpose here. However, he who fails to quash his emotions in the courtroom has failed as a lawyer.
Come on, Kazuma. You know this won't wash. You're claiming your father was misrepresented in a trial that took place a whole decade ago. You must see that without evidence. That's nothing more than a wild accusation.
As it happens,
I have evidence. What? As the court has heard, I crossed the channel to France with Gregson on the 31st. I went with him on the pretext of being the assassin recruited to kill Seishiro Jigoku, but my true intentions were to make the inspector tell me the truth.
what truth?
The truth about the evidence, and he acknowledged what I'd already deduced. There's a closely guarded secret about what went on in that autopsy 10 years ago.
What? A secret? I know nothing of any secrets.
While we waited for my supposed mark in Jigoku's cabin, I drew my client's illustrious sword, Karuma, before the inspector's eyes. He very quickly understood what my true motive was.
Right, so you're that Asogi's young lad, are you? And what, you're gonna gut me down for that thing, is that it?
That will very much depend on the answers you give to my questions. I want to know what really happened 10 years ago. The truth, that's all.
Before we get into it, let me make one thing clear. I still believe your father was the professor, there's no doubt in my mind. But unfortunately back then, we didn't have the evidence we needed to make the crime stick.
So, you admit it then? The evidence used in my father's trial was fabricated.
Gregson voice is back, baby!
It was for the good of the old country. Anyway, I was just following orders.
Orders? What exactly did you do? Speak!
I'm not saying another word.
Even if your life depends on it.
That's right. Even then.
And that's when the blade got caught on his metal trunk. So that's when the tip of the sword broke. Yeah.
Oh, Kazuma-sama.
If the result of Client Von Zeke's autopsy was fabricated, then the investigating officer Gregson and the lead coroner Wilson must have known about it. And they can only have been ordered to pervert the course of justice in that way by one man. The man leading the case for the prosecution, Baruch Von Zeeks.
I just had the realization. We know that the autopsy report was actually Miko Torba who penned it.
In other words, the defendant did have cause to organize this exchange of assassins.
And how is that going to be significant though?
Exactly as was established earlier. It has to have been the Reaper himself who liaised with Jigoku in Japan to arrange the exchange.
Ah!
So it follows that the Reaper's true identity can only be that of the man who stands accused in this courtroom today, Baruch Von Zeeks.
Objection!
I don't know if I got it. If I did, I don't know where it fell. That was a mosquito. Sorry. I don't think I got it. Unfortunate. But okay. Maybe I did. I don't know. Oh, I see it. Okay, one sec. And be taking a break for a boss fight. Alright, cool. We're done.
Kazuma Asogi.
What?
What you've just told the court, are you absolutely certain of your facts? Did Gregson really fabricate evidence for that trial 10 years ago?
I heard it with my own ears. His shameful admission.
In that case, I know. The name of the Reaper.
What? What? It's gonna be Miko Torba. Fuck, really? Lord Von Zeeks.
I gave no such orders, I know that for certain. Which narrows down the remaining possibilities to one.
If Lord Von Zeeks isn't the one behind all of this, then yes, there is only one other person who could have done something like that. I believe I know who it is too.
You!
I just had a feeling this name was going to come up. The true identity of the infamous Reaper of the Bailey is... Wait, no. It's not gonna be Miko... Is it gonna be Miko Torba or is it gonna be Strongheart? I feel like Strongheart makes sense.
Take that!
Yeah, okay.
The only person who could have arranged the assassin exchange and manipulate the autopsy report results. Right, of course. Why would it have been Nico Torba? He couldn't have done the assassin exchange. Yeah. What am I talking about? Yeah. I know, because he penned the report. I don't know what the significance of that is yet. Is the Lord Chief Justice himself. Lord Miles Strongheart. What? Lord Strongheart? Yes, it's true that 10 years ago, the defendant handled the prosecution of the professor. I lost my breath there. But only after he took over the case after his brother, Lord Client Van Zieks, had been killed.
I can only assume that this is the most inappropriate joke in British judicial history.
Well, Lord Van Zieks...
10 years ago, I was very new to my profession, but I had a burning desire to avenge my brother's death, so I pleaded for control of the case.
Am I gonna finish this game tonight? Now you know what I owe crap at. Well, it's not the most surprising revelation, you know? I've been thinking this the entire time. He's the only one who could have had the authority to do any of this shit.
The investigation to that point, the supplication of the lords to allow my brother's corpse to be examined. All the evidence I was given, the autopsy reports, it all came from you.
Also, he's so obviously evil based on his portrait. And, you know, like, I guess the imagery on the cover here kind of made me think about that, but anyway.
I've spent my life since then, believing I was in your debt for the way you stood aside and let me handle the trial.
Oh, so you mean I don't think I'm gonna finish the game today? Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
But I see now. I was very much mistaken.
It was a hugely influential force that caused the inspector and coroner to break the law back 10 years ago. And that same force was still felt a decade later on the other side of the world by Seishiro Jigoku. Lord Strongheart, everything falls into place when we recognize that you are the Reaper of the Bailey.
The court awaits your response, my lord. This may very well go down in British judicial history, but I assure you, it is no joke. Consider this a formal accusal by the defense. It doesn't warrant a response. A formal accusal? Don't be absurd. The defense's claims are utter nonsense and wild fantasy at best.
You're not going to defend yourself.
You claim there was some wrongdoing with the Client Van Zieks autopsy. That's utterly untrue.
Objection!
But I heard it from Gregson's own lips. He admitted to it.
And where is your evidence?
What?
Gregson's dead now, unless you were thinking of summoning a ghost to the stand.
Oh, this is where we're gonna call in Miko Torba, because he wrote the report! Oh fuck! Oh fuck! Sasato's dad coming in? You mean to say...
I forget how the system works in your little backwater country. But in the courts of British Empire, without evidence, there is no case. I have no intention of entertaining some wild fantasy that can't possibly be substantiated by anyone or anything.
Ah! No, we can substantiate it. There's one more person who's still left alive. Come on. 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 Come on.
Following Inspector Gregson's murder and in the light of Dr. Wilson's health as well, there's really no one left who could testify about the events of 10 years ago. Is there?
Yes, there's one person. Yes, 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 yes. Hurry up!
So that was the real purpose of the assassin exchange. This court has no business raking over the cause of a case that was concluded a decade ago. The accusal was brought by the prosecution and defense is categorically denied. I take it there are no objections.
The future of a hack and a potential Ace 27, yeah. This is so good! Holy shit! Kazuma said he will let his whole life for this moment. Is there really nothing else we can do now? Is there no other avenue we can go into in pursuit of the truth that's happened all these years ago? If only there was someone who could testify about Klein van Ziek's autopsy. There is someone! I know who it is, guys! He's gone to extraordinary evidence to cover his tracks. Even so, far as dispatching an assassin all the way to Japan to assure Dr. Wilson's silence. And Dr. Sith won't say anything against Strongheart. But there's still one ray of hope.
Objection!
Actually, there is one person. One person who could still testify about that autopsy.
Don't be ridiculous. There was no one left.
Who, Ryonosuke? Who? Tell me! Kazuma, Please, this trial can't end. Not yet. I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing it for the truth. The person in defense would like to call to the stand to testify the autopsy of Lord Klein van Zieks is...
Take that!
Heaven help us, another Japanese.
An expert in forensic medicine, my lord, Professor Yujin Mikotoba. 16 years ago, he came to London with Seishiro Jigoku and Genshin Asogi as a visiting student.
And what could his testimony possibly tell us?
Professor Mikotoba was the primary assistant during the autopsy in question. He was also the person who actually penned the report.
Incorrect. The autopsy was carried out by the coroner, Dr. Wilson. The report carries his signature.
It was the primary assistant's duty to keep a written record of the coroner's work during the procedure. In actual fact, the coroner merely read over the report and at the end and signed it.
In other words, Professor Mikotoba witnessed the entire autopsy from start to finish. The defense demands that Professor Mikotoba be summoned as a witness as a matter of urgency. Whatever really happened in the autopsy laboratory 10 years ago is something only he can tell us.
The defense's demand is denied.
What?
But Professor Mikotoba's in London at this very moment. We could summon him to the stand in minutes.
No, of course he's not going to agree to it. Strongheart has no intention of summoning anyone who knows. He's too concerned about protecting himself.
Prosecutor Asogi, let me refresh your memory, as you seem to have forgotten about the prosecution stance. Only minutes ago, you accused the defendant of being the Reaper and masterminding the assassin exchange.
I did, yes.
So, present your evidence for those claims. Make your case complete.
At this time, I don't have the requisite evidence, but that's exactly why we need this witness testimony.
The professor case is closed. There are no clues in the distant past that will bolster your argument today. I'm afraid to say, Prosecutor Asogi, that you would appear to be possessed by the spirit of your late homicidal father. Now, as I stated earlier, this court has already reached a conclusion with respect to the matter at hand. Inspector Gregson was murdered by Japanese Supreme Court Judge Seishiro Jigoku. As for any hidden circumstances that may exist, they will be investigated in due course by proper authorities.
But we all know that what will happen, they'll just give the mastermind of the whole venture time to cover his tracks again.
By which you mean me. Your punishment for this contemptible behavior will be decided at a later date. As for you, Prosecutor Asogi, you will be remanded the following proceedings, willingly, I trust, since you gave your word. This futile game of revenge is over. Young Masa Asogi.
Damn! Holy shit.
That will be all. I hereby declare this trial to be over. Court is...
Hold it? Who's holding it? Is this Mikotoba? No, hold it! He doesn't ever hold it? Mr. Sholmes?
This is no place for amateur detection, Mr. Sholmes. May I remind you that these proceedings are closed to the general public. You will leave this courtroom at once.
Mr. Sholmes was instrumental in the apprehension of Seishiro Jigoku before he fled from Europe. The court should hear what he has to say.
Lord Miles Strongheart, it's imperative that you refrain from bringing this trial to an end at this stage.
Is it really? And why would that be?
You need only recall your own words from the opening of the trial to answer that question. If I may, We will stop at nothing to uncover the whole truth behind these disturbing findings. Surely it can't be that the shock of being accused by the Reaper, of being the Reaper yourself has erased that from your memory, can it?
The whole truth, sir, has already been uncovered.
It would seem that we have a great many important members of the judiciary present here today. I put it to you, my dear fellows, should the trial end at this juncture? After all, why have you been invited to attend? To nod along with the provocations of your superiors?
Holy shit. Holy shit. Oh my god! Sorry, I'm...
It seems we have to stand before a door that leads us to a new area of legal practices, and that door is ajar. Let us emerge from the shadows of the Reaper's decade-long ascendancy. For you and you alone, my dear fellows, have the power to push this door open now!
The auditors in the gallery have no right to express an opinion on the proceedings. Silence!
He's right! The judge has absolute authority here! Yes, if we go to trial, then must then! But would that really do?
It's the dark things occurring behind the scenes. Dark things indeed.
The single person present can also say it's the same.
What's... The trial should go on. Summon the witness!
That's right! We need to clear this up before the young Japanese fellows have run into custody.
Holy shit. Cosmo! Cosmo!
My lord, you sure this present will uncover the true here? Yeah. Vindicate yourself in the down-lashing execution. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. That's what the very foundation of British law!
A toast to my dependable colleagues in the gallery.
This game is so fucking...
Well, my lord, you hear the voice of British justice, I take it. I think you'll find it will be rather awkward to silence.
The court will recess briefly. I've no intention of shrinking from these allegations. Bailiff, arrange for the subpoena of the witness at once. As soon as the gentleman arrives at the courthouse, we shall reconvene.
A recess won't be necessary, my lord.
Pardon?
Mikotoba is a close friend of mine. He has accompanied me today as he's waiting in the antechamber as we speak. I do believe he's been enjoying a little trip down memory lane, in fact. What? Professor Mikotoba is here in the courthouse? Mr. Sholmes, you didn't know this would happen, did you? My dear fellow, no one is in a better position to answer that question than you, surely. I wasn't just asking for the fun of it, you know.
Well, I must thank you for your assistance in this matter, Mr. Sholmes. However, you are of no further use here. Kindly leave the courtroom at once.
But of course, in truth, I find myself rather busy now as a result of these developments. Mr. Naruhodo. Yes? I trust you have Iris's little lucky charm with you.
Absolutely. It's still here in my pocket.
She sends her regards and a reminder. If you find yourself at a dead end, the ears are at your disposal. Just one tug, if you please.
Oh, of course.
In that case, the trial will continue without delay. Bailiff, show the witness to the stand.
This is so it's Long Strongheart. He's the Rip of the Bail. Where exactly is this trial going to take me, I wonder? Just how deep am I going to be plunged into the blackness of the abyss? Well, I'm ready. I'm ready to head into the heart of this maelstrom. I get it. And confront whatever horrors it tries to drown me under. To be continued, right? Shit, man. Do I continue or do I stop here? This is so fucking hype. It's so... Oh my god. Last part won't go on from bit. It's 10:30. Yeah, that's the thing. I need to wake up early. And the problem is I can't necessarily stream all day. I have like... If I'm organized, I have like... I guess 6 hours to stream? Maximum? 9 a.m. to about 3 o'clock. No, I have to stop before, like, 2, actually. Last part goes on for about 3 hours or so. Alright, I'm gonna stop here. I'm gonna wake up as early as I can to feed the cats as early as I can. And then I'm gonna start streaming in the morning as soon as I fucking possibly can. To see if I can finish this game tomorrow. I think that's the plan. If I can't, oh well. But I'm going to do my best to achieve that. I'll try to finish this game before you stream. Sounds good. I'm going to sleep. I'm going to try be here tomorrow, 9 a.m. in the morning, Australian time. Australian Eastern. I think, are we daylight savings still? Is it ADT? Anyway, I'm going to try finish this game. Thanks so much for watching. I'm so fucking hype. Holy fucking shit, this game is insane. This is the best Ace Attorney game. This is the best Ace Attorney game. There's no fucking competition. The alternative is leaving it to Friday when I have a lot more free time, but I kind of don't want to do that. I'm going to do my best to do it tomorrow. All right. We're going to be really sad when we finish the game. I'm going to be sadder than you because I don't have more Ace Attorney games to play after this. You have, like, the whole series, Curb, if you want to go through it. But yeah, good night, everyone. I'm going to rush to bed, and I'm going to wake up as early as I fucking can and see how I can manage this, okay? I want to give myself the maximum amount of time to get this done. You know, Grim of Fish and Chips, I know. Holy shit. Holy fucking shit. Okay. Let's see how things go.